Most vehicles exist to get you somewhere safely. These 5 were built for something else entirely. Would you strap yourself into a seat that launches your body at 20 times the force of gravity just to escape the machine you're already in? Could you sit still while your own blood drains away from your brain because the laws of physics decided to take over? What if the vehicle you were inside stopped being a vehicle at all? 5 machines, all real. Someone is operating one of them right now, and every single one has a way of reminding its operator exactly how small they are. It doesn't look that dangerous. Low to the ground, narrow, almost elegant. And then the engine starts. It's called a top fuel dragster. The fuel isn't gasoline, it's nitromethane. Nitromethane contains oxygen inside its own molecular structure. That means the engine doesn't just burn fuel. It basically creates a controlled detonation, over and over, at 9,000 revolutions per minute. The result, over 11,000 horsepower. From a car roughly the length of a school bus, 0 to 100 miles per hour in under 1 second, 0 to 200 in 2.2. At the starting line, the driver experiences roughly 6 times the force of gravity, the same force felt during a rocket launch. And it doesn't stop. The average G-force across the entire run is around 4, peaking above 5.5. That's the point where most people begin losing consciousness. The race itself lasts about 3.6 seconds. After that, twin parachutes deploy. Without them, there's nothing else to stop the car. If spark fails early, unburned nitromethane builds up in the cylinders, and then detonates, with enough force to split the engine block in 2. Every run costs roughly $1,000 per second. Not to win, just to finish without it coming apart under you. Most aircraft are designed to keep the pilot comfortable. Fighter jets are not designed for comfort. They are designed to push a human body to the edge of what it can survive. It's called a fighter jet. In a tight turn at high speed, a pilot can pull 9 times the force of gravity. At 9G, a 15-pound head weighs 135 pounds. Arms are almost too heavy to lift. Every drop of blood in the body is being dragged downward, away from the brain, away from the eyes. Without protection, vision narrows to a gray tunnel within seconds, then goes black. Then the pilot loses consciousness, and the aircraft continues on its last input at 500 knots toward the ground. The anti-G suit, a set of inflatable leggings, squeezes the legs and abdomen. It buys seconds, not minutes, and sometimes the only option left is the ejection seat. The seat fires the pilot clear of the aircraft in a fraction of a second, accelerating the body upward at roughly 18 to 20 times the force of gravity. On ejection, the spine is compressed vertically with no time to adapt. Studies report spinal fractures in between 20 and 60% of ejections. One pilot who survived reported losing a full inch of height. Modern ejection seats have a survival rate above 90%, but that number assumes the seat fires within the correct parameters: speed, altitude, angle of the aircraft. Outside those parameters, the margin disappears. From the outside, a tank looks impenetrable. Steel on every side, low profile, heavy. The people inside it know something the outside doesn't show. That is the tank. The crew operates in a space roughly the size of a walk-in closet. No room to stand, no room to turn around easily. Everything is metal. Everything is close. Directly beside them, the ammunition. This is where tank design becomes a matter of survival. In Soviet-era tanks, the ammunition is stored in a ring around the inside of the turret. A carousel design, efficient, compact, low profile, and catastrophic if anything penetrates the armor. When ammunition inside a tank ignites, pressure has nowhere to go. It goes up. The turret, weighing several tons, separates from the hull and launches into the air. Crews have a name for it. They call it the jack-in-the-box effect. Western tanks solve this differently. Ammunition is stored behind an armored bulkhead at the back of the turret. Blow-off panels on top are designed to direct the explosion outward and upward, away from the crew. It doesn't guarantee survival. Nothing inside a tank does, but it changes the odds enough to matter. The crew of a Soviet-designed tank, hit in the right place, has almost no time to react. The crew of a Western-designed tank in the same scenario sometimes walks away. Same machine, very different promises. Every other vehicle on this list sits in open air, This one operates where air doesn't exist, where pressure builds at one additional atmosphere for every 10 meters of depth. It's called submarine. At 1,000 meters down, the water pushes in at around 100 atmospheres, roughly a ton of force on every square centimeter of the hull. The crew inside is breathing air at standard pressure. 1 atmosphere, surrounded by 100. The hull holds that gap closed. If it doesn't, the implosion takes approximately 50 milliseconds, faster than a human reflex, faster than any alarm system. On April 10th, 1963, the USS Thresher was conducting a deep dive test. At around 9 in the morning, a brief radio transmission mentioned a minor difficulty, then silence. A pipe fitting in the engine room had failed. Water sprayed into the electrical systems. Power cut out. The submarine began to sink. In 5 minutes, the Thresher descended roughly 600 feet past its test depth. Then it reached its crush depth. The hull gave way. 129 people. The debris field covered more than a square mile of ocean floor. After the Thresher, the United States Navy created the SubSafe program. Every component on every submarine tested, every weld inspected, every sailor trained specifically to prevent this exact sequence of events. The Navy has not lost a SubSafe certified submarine since, but no hull lasts forever, and 50 milliseconds is not a lot of time. This last one isn't a weapon. It isn't a racing machine. It doesn't go to war. It just moves rocks. Extraordinarily large rocks. It's the Belazy 75710. It is the largest haul truck ever built, manufactured in Belarus, used primarily in open pit mines across Russia and Central Asia. Payload capacity, 450 metric tons. Fully loaded, the truck and its cargo together weigh 810 tons. For context, that's roughly 560 average passenger cars in a single load. The truck has 8 tires. Each one is 4.27 meters tall. Stand next to one, and you barely reach the midpoint. The engine, 2 of them, produces a combined 4,600 horsepower. Top speed when fully loaded, 64 kilometers per hour. Slow for a vehicle, catastrophic for anything in its path. The cab sits high enough that the driver cannot see the ground beside it. At all. No mirrors cover the full blind zone, not a design oversight, a consequence of the sheer scale. When this truck turns, it needs a turning radius of 31 meters. That's longer than most aircraft runways are wide. A single tire replacement takes several hours in a dedicated crane. Each tire costs over $50,000. It consumes 1,300 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. This machine exists because it is more efficient than any alternative. Fewer trips, less fuel per ton, lower cost per load. The math works, the machine works. Getting out of the way when it's moving, that part is up to you. 5 machines. A car that detonates itself down the track. A jet that drains the blood from your own brain. A tank where the ammunition is standing right beside you. A tube of steel holding back 100 atmospheres of water. And a truck so large it can't see you standing next to it. None of them are broken. Every single one is working exactly as designed. That's what makes them what they are. The machine doesn't weigh the risk. It doesn't calculate what could go wrong. It just does what it was built to do. And somewhere inside each one, there's a human being who decided that was enough reason to get in. And if you made it this far, I'm guessing you liked what you saw. For more of this, hit subscribe. You know where the button is.